It is 7 o'clock on May 31st. That's Shattuck. His owner is Vlad the Lad, the security guard. He drops by to visit every morning and hopes that Olga will feed him something, which usually happens. Today she brought him a little piece of cake, but he didn't like it. I guess he's just fussy. This has been an incredibly cold, wet, rainy spring. This is one of the very few rare sunny mornings. However, it's only 5 degrees, which in Fahrenheit is a whopping 40. The lawn is mowed. The lawn is turning green. However, the lawnmower went off and died on us. The switch to make it run failed, so I ripped the switch out and just hot wired the thing together so it could be used. And Olga used it. The main reason we're out here on a wet day, and I mean it is wet all over the place, is to water inside of the 2 greenhouses. Yep, we bought the second one. The flowers have been pretty this spring. They're kind of losing their luster now, but they were nice. Anne came out, and she's always works on the flowers and the strawberries. She cleaned out both strawberry patches, and they're starting to bloom now. Cherries are blooming, or bloomed, and some of the garden has been planted in the back there with the little stakes, or where the potatoes are planted. There are rows of carrots and radishes in between those green stepping stones. There's zucchini over here, and what looks to be a volunteer leftover row of lettuce. The pink board pieces are what we're currently using to fire the banya stove. That banya stove is really kind of pathetic, and it takes a lot of pink boards to get this place warm enough to use. The banya stove is not the best, and Rustem would like to replace it, but he can't quite figure out how, considering the whole chimney is brick and goes up through the upper part of the banya and sits, as you can see, on top of the stove. However, it takes about an hour and a half to get this place hot enough so it can actually use it. Still haven't filled up the big water tank yet. That's something that has to be done soon. We need a new toilet seat. That one's cracked. Doesn't bother me a bit. The first greenhouse, our old one, has tomatoes and peppers that are progressing nicely. Have peas on the trellis. Only one side is planted. I can't plant too well in the mud, and this whole place is nothing but mud. The second greenhouse has, I can't remember what she cucumbers and a few more tomatoes. This green pile of crap here is a cucumber trellis, and the cucumbers are planted in between those 2 sticks there. We will hang the trellis over that framework that I built, and that will help them. And there's the potatoes. The pile of boards are the old porch. and steps, which were rotting and ugly. A few pink boards. Pink board project is progressing. And I do have a door on the shop, but that's about as far as I've gone there. The inside of the shop is, well, needs lights, and it needs cleaning, and it needs shelves, and I don't have time. We only seem to be coming out every third day to water in the greenhouse. Raspberry bushes are coming along nicely. Shattuck still wants something to eat. The water level is right now just a shade under, a couple of centimeters under a meter, which is awfully high for this time of the year. The patio was put to good use, or deck, or whatever you want to call it. It's last weekend for the impromptu birthday party for Oscar. He's 9. And there were about 10, 12 people here for that. This is the lumber supply for the de-pinking of the house project. And this is the downspout and gutter parts for putting a gutter on the banya, which is nice. This is Olga's herb garden. She's never planted an herb garden before, but that's it. And then some trashed pink boards. The discussion between Ann and Olga over the placement of the herb garden was kind of funny, because Ann was going to plant large bushes there. She planted them anyway, because they're not going to be large for a few years. I need it to dry up so I can trim the tall grass on the other side of the fence, which is our responsibility. We still have some spots to fill in there. However, my project is moving right along. The de-pinking of the veranda. I have gotten, a little over half of the veranda finished so far. There will be a strip along the bottom. If I could quit shooting into the sun, that would help. The hard part on all of this has been taking the old stuff off, because I had applied a lot of caulking behind the old lap seam, so it's all kind of glued together in a big mass. Olga's pink paint job doesn't help anything, because she buried the screws under paint. They're kind of hard to remove. Moving the bars on the windows was not all that problematic. You just line up where you put in the new hole with the new board, and away you go. Inside, things have not changed all that much. The kitchen is homey and well utilized every time somebody comes out. Seen quite a bit of Ann and the kids out here so far this year. Ann still has a lot of planting to do. She has seedlings all over this place that are coming along that need to be planted if it quits raining. The weather forecast is rain for the next 4 days, starting this afternoon. In the sitting room, she has more greenery. We've been spending nights here, especially after the musical refrigerator incident. We now have a new refrigerator out here at the dacha, and the only reason it's a new one instead of the used one from the house is that the new one that Olga bought for the house would not fit in the elevator or through the door. The original plan was to buy a new refrigerator for the house and take the one in the house and drag it out here. Eventually, though, smarter people, dacha, convinced Olga just buy a new one for the dacha. And it was delivered at 11 o'clock at night, which was typical for Russia. There was a problem up here, after all. That was the floor. The linoleum on the floor is not glued down. It sits on a layer of insulation, and it slides around, which is not what it should do. There was a big hump in the middle of it, and it took Rustem and one of his many cousins about an hour and a half last Friday night to get it all straightened out. But we're happy out here. We've been spending a few nights using the banya. Olga's been busy with her greenhouses and her gardening, and I've been busy with my project. So I guess it's now time to turn this thing off and get my little self to work after I have coffee. So see you again in another month. This is dacha update number 2. Goodbye.